Creative industries have emerged as one of the leading sectors in the economy.
Starting up a small recording studio in my dad's garage is all it took.
My story was more like experimenting with a variety of flavors, baking cupcakes, brownies, donuts.
Breakthroughs are usually when you find a new way to do something.
Oh well, me and my sister set up a fashion label because we just couldn't find what we wanted in shops.
Breaking rules and great stories start with how you dare to do things differently.
So, how do you start and sustain a business?
All these and more as Africa's Global Bank, UBA, presents Mind Your Own Business, a radio program designed to initialize, educate, and motivate young entrepreneurs emerging as strong players in the local and global economy. Stay tuned for Mind Your Own Business, proudly brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
This is Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Good morning, this is Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. I'm your host, Wale Famriwa. Thank you for joining us this morning. Of course, on Mind Your Own Business, we are teaching you what you need to know about doing business in Africa's largest economy. So we bring you the inspiring stories of entrepreneurs, but not only that, we let you know what you need to do to make it in business in this market. Now, on today's show, we are focusing on a theme. Does one need to attend business school to be a successful entrepreneur? And joining us to talk us through that theme is Obinna Ekezie, the founder and CEO of Wakanow.com. Obinna, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so let's talk about, first of all, Wakanow.com. Give us some insight into that business. What's it about? I hear it's Africa's largest, Africa's first real online travel portal. So tell us the story, and we know that there is a background to your story. We know you were a professional basketball player. Yeah. So where did business come into all this?
Okay, thank you. My educational background, now you mentioned what I did as a professional basketball player. I studied mechanical engineering and business in the University of Maryland. And so I've always been business inclined. And while I was playing the NBA, I did a lot of travel, and I used sites like Expedia, Travelocity, United States to plan my travel and book my travel. I felt I felt those platforms were very transparent. They offered the user the ability to find the best deals on flights, hotels. And then when I came back to Nigeria, I started coming back to Nigeria about 2004, 2005. I was trying to book a flight. Noticed that those kind of platforms didn't exist, and internet penetration was just at the infancy stage. And so I decided that it was, and I had tried to invest in a company that was United States, a startup that was focused on online, what they call meta search engine. Right. And then that didn't work out. So I'd gained some experience in that process. So I knew that there was a huge opportunity in Nigeria to build an online travel platform because nothing like that existed. Internet penetration was starting to take place. Mobile payments were starting to take place. Companies like InterSwitch were just starting off. So the foundation, the fundamentals were starting to take place in Nigeria. So and Nigeria obviously is a huge travel market. A lot of airlines operate in and out of Nigeria. And I thought it would be a huge opportunity to build a transparent online platform where customers can see all the deals. Because my experience trying to book a flight in Nigeria at that time, 2004, 2005, 2006, was very, very difficult. There was no transparency. Well. You had to go to airline's office or you had to go to a travel agency, and you didn't really have any visibility as to what the options were. You had the best options. So it was. I felt and I engaged my partner that we needed to build something like Raf Terminal. We need to build an online platform like this, and so it was a huge endeavor, very capital intensive. But fortunately, we were able to invest our money and also got my dad involved in the project. Right. And it took us about 2 years to build the platform. So we started in 2008, and then I had to retire from basketball because I thought it was just too big an opportunity for me to pass on and retire from basketball. The business
person in you kicked in.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Okay, but we're definitely going to hear more about Wakanow.com, but I just wanted to touch a little issue I want to play with here. You know, we know sports people are very competitive, and I just wanted to get a sense of how you view business. Would you say fundamentally business for you is a platform for more competition, Or is it all about, okay, I see an opportunity, I want to make money? What's the drive behind what you do in business?
Well, for me, it's higher than just making money. I always believe that money will come if you do a good job, if you create value for people and for customers.
Yeah.
Money will always come. So that's not my drive. I don't wake up every morning asking how much we're going to make. The most important thing for me is to be able to create value and to be able to solve a problem.
Right.
We saw a problem and we're trying to solve it every day. And there are many problems to solve in the travel business in Nigeria using technology and being innovative. So for me, business, a lot of things that I brought into business aside from my educational background in business does the fact that as a sports person, you and as a professional athlete, you're taught about strategy.
Right.
You're taught about identifying weaknesses, identifying opportunities, learn how to attack, learn how to defend.
Right.
And all these things I brought into my business sense. I helped me develop my business sense where I'm able to identify opportunities and I'm able to provide solutions and able to create the ability to always stay ahead of the game. And that means that my attitude is always to always keep on working, always keep on innovating, always trying to push myself to go beyond what other people's expectations are of me, and that way I will always be ahead of the game. And so the more successful we get, the more paranoid I get, and that was what fuels me and drives me to keep on working every day.
Right. Well, certainly you've brought a very, very useful solution to the market here. So let's move back to our theme here. So like I did mention earlier, we want to examine the theme. Does one really need to go to business school to be successful as an entrepreneur? You obviously went to college, had a formal education, but not exactly business school. So let's play with that theme. Your thoughts about that. Does one really need to be taught how to learn business? Is business something you learn on the go? What's been your experience?
I think education is very important. I think it's helpful to go to business school. I think that helps you understand the fundamentals and limits the amount of mistakes that you make as a business person, because business is difficult. Business is tough. You have to be perseverant. You have to be able to analyze situations. You have to be able to read reports. A lot of things. You have to be able to develop business plans, and all those kind of things. I help during your education, but it's something that you can't really learn in business, how to deal with people.
Right.
In business school, how to deal with people. You have to be able to know how to deal with people. You have to have a vision. And sometimes being an entrepreneur, most of the time is about having that vision to be able to see problems and find solutions. And sometimes that's not really learned in business school. It's something that you have to have within you to be able to see opportunities and take advantage of them.
All right, but before we go on the break, Obinna, of course, we're on radio. Let's play with the type of music you like. So, you're a big CEO today, but we know you have a background in the US. So is it hip hop? What kind of music do you like?
I love Nigerian music. I used to love hip hop, but now I'm fully Nigerian music.
Right.
So my favorite artist right now is Wizkid. I think the guy is a legend. I think he's changing the face of Nigerian entertainment amongst other very successful artists. But I just have a preference for Wizkid's music.
All right.
And
so we'll listen to some Wizkid on this break. Of course, we'll take a little break now. And we'll come back, continue this conversation with the CEO of Wakanow.com, Obinna Ekezie. We are back in a moment.
Coming up on Mind Your Own Business.
Right.
I find a lot of people are looking for shortcuts in Nigeria, trying to find a short way to get to success. It's not sustainable.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's global bank.
Welcome back. This is Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. Still on the show today is Obinna Ekezie, the CEO of Wakanow.com, and he's helping us appreciate his story and the lessons he learned in the classroom, and of course the lessons he learned out of the classroom building a successful business. Obinna, thanks for staying with us today. All right, so Obinna, but do you know what? Take us back to that moment where you made the transition. So you've obviously had a very exciting career as an NBA level basketball player, but at some point you decided that, listen, I have to start thinking about the future after basketball. I want to get into business. I have this business thing in me. How did you make that transition? Because I imagine a business like Wakanow is relatively complicated. So how did you get into that?
Well, obviously, I had a good career playing basketball in university. I was one of the top players in the United States. I was supposed to be drafted probably top 10. Unfortunately, I had an injury my senior year. Late in my senior year, I tore my Achilles tendon. So I was... Injuries
can be a setback.
So I went from a first-round pick to a second-round pick, which was good. I came in to the NBA, recovering from surgery. So my career in the NBA was kind of, didn't take off as much as I would have liked if I came in healthy from the beginning.
Right.
And then I was able to work my way in. I was able to play and get to a level where I was when I was not playing for Atlanta Hawks, where I was now playing very well and was on my way to having a great season.
Right.
And then unfortunately I had another injury again, the ACL injury.
Really get in the way.
And I thought I was in the best shape of my life. I was playing excellent basketball, leading my team in scoring and rebounding in preseason. So at that point, when that injury happened, that's when I realized that my career as a basketball player was really beyond my control in terms of, how sustainable is this? In terms of any injury can derail all your plans, and obviously one just happened. So I decided at that point that it was time to start thinking about my career after basketball, and that's when I started looking at business opportunities. That's when I invested in the company I told you about earlier that didn't fail in the meta search space. So at that point, I became very intuitive about what are my opportunities in the United States, and especially back home. I started coming back to Nigeria, looking at opportunities. I felt like I need to come back. My father, who I'm very close with, I wanted to spend more time with him. I had been away for about 13 years since I was 18 years old, so I wanted to come back and spend some time, learn from him. He's a very successsul businessman too, so I felt I need to come back and gain some of that knowledge, experience from him while I was going to business. And so it was important for me to start to think about coming out. So once I found this opportunity, it was a no-brainer for me to move on.
Right. Okay, let's talk a bit about business though. And earlier we talked about some things that you can't learn in the classroom.
Yeah.
Tell us your experience. You've been in the classroom. You've obviously been at business for a while now. What are those little things that you think the business school really can't give you?
Every business environment is different. Doing business in America is totally different from doing business in Nigeria. I mean, in America, people are usually, I would say, straightforward. Things are done in a straightforward manner. Somebody is going to deliver this. He's probably usually going to deliver what he says he's going to deliver. At the time, he's going to deliver. Yeah, so this market is a little bit different. Things are not always as straightforward as they seem. Different interests. Dealing with different people, and you have to be savvy here. You have to understand what is going on. And sometimes you don't learn that in the first. You're going to get squeezed a few times for you to understand how things are really being done. Here, it's not the best way to do things, and it creates a lot of inefficiencies. It creates a lot of frustration. It discourages people. That's why a lot of people are very scared to go into business, because the uncertainty of making it is so high in Nigeria because of those factors that you can't account for when you're writing your business plan, and all of us can debate about what those factors are. When it comes to additional, I don't want to go into details, but bribery and corruption and all those kind of things that make it difficult to succeed. But you have to be perseverant in this market. You have to believe in what you're doing. You have to be focused on creating value that is sustainable. I find a lot of people are looking for shortcuts in Nigeria, trying to find a short way to get to success. It's not sustainable. If you don't build a solid foundation, whatever you're trying to do, and stay the course and grow your business on a solid foundation, not dependent on other people to give you contracts or other people's success decisions to influence your business, then you have a likely chance of being successful.
Right.
But if your business is about depending on somebody else or some other factor to come in and influence your business, then you're not on the right path.
Well, let's focus on your business in particular here. I do get the sense it's quite complex because there's an operational leg, there's a customer service leg.
Yeah.
There are quite a few elements, and really, when you think about it, it takes a lot to put this all together. So I wonder where the learning came from. Or was it something that you had to read up, as, okay, how do I start an online travel company?
To be honest with you, I didn't have any experience. I had no experience in travel. What I did was it was like going back to school. It was like I'm an engineer. So I need to solve a problem. What I did was identify the problems.
Yeah.
What are the problems?
Could see the problem, and of course that's the opportunity.
Yes, I could identify the problems. So for me, it was pure mathematics. How do I solve this problem? And I was very good in math. So I found solutions to problems that existed when it comes to payment solutions, when it comes to building the online platform.
Right.
So I knew exactly once we identified the problems, we were able to identify to find the solutions. And that is the way we have built this business, whether it's in the flight booking portal, whether it's in the hotel business, whether it's in the airport pickup stuff. So we look at what do the customers want? How can we deliver this? And what platform do we need to build to deliver this platform? How can we introduce other partners like the banks to come in, the payment gateways to come in? How do we create solutions that will create an ecosystem that will enable these transactions to go easier and more fluidly for the customer, make it easy for the customer to start and end the transactions. That's just how we came into this business. That's why I believe that a lot of the things we have learned in building Wakanow are scalable. We can transfer this knowledge to other businesses, because at the end of the day, it's all about finding solutions to problems.
So you've done this for a while, and let's even test that theme. You talked about the approach to solving problems that you have identified in Wakanow. It's something that we can probably use and replicate in other parts. So are you likely to get invested in other areas, or do you think Wakanow is the kind of business that you just need to focus on and it will continue to grow, not just in Nigeria but across Africa?
Well, I see tremendous opportunities in different areas. One is the travel, which takes 900% of my time. Wakanow takes 99.9% of my time, even more than that. It's a 24/7, 365 business, so travel is always happening every day. We're expanding the business. We're now in Ghana. We're now in the UK. We're in Dubai. We're in the US. So this company is growing beyond Nigerians' borders. So that means there's more responsibility, more work to do. The most important thing I learned, especially from sports, is building the right team. So what we've been able to do over the last several years has been bringing people that can help this business grow, that come in with a certain level of expertise in their core areas, and be able to build a more robust company with people that are qualified and have the experience to deliver value in their own doing their own responsibilities. And for me, investment in other areas, especially the area of sports, that's my thing. So I'm investing in sports also. In basketball now, but I found a team that can deliver that on that area. Obviously, I'm going to bring in my own experience doing business in Nigeria to be able to add to that new venture. But for me, it's about focusing on Wakanow, lending my knowledge and my advice to my other partners that are doing other things in other sectors, and that's where I'm trying to build a team around people that can come and deliver value in multiple sectors. All
right, we'll continue to explore those themes. But before we go on another break, maybe another
Wizkid.
It has to be Wizkid, eh?
Yes.
All right, so let's get some more Wizkid. Which one do you like this time?
You give me Ojo Leba. Which one are you giving me now? Ojo Leba, please. That's a classic.
All right, so let's have it. We'll come back right after this break and continue this conversation with Obinna Ekezie, the founder and CEO of Wakanow.com.
Coming up on Mind Your Own Business.
When you go into business, it cannot be an emotional thing. I have to go with my brother, I have to go with my sister, I have to go with some sentimental decision making. No. People that make excuses are bound to fail. So it's about getting things done.
story. From old dogs to do. I be hustle to work. Say, me do a leg by me and city. From old dogs to do. We been hustle to work. Say, me do a leg by my people dead. My people suffer. Them they pray for blessing. Hey, me do a leg by my people dead. Them they pray for blessing. For better living.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Welcome back from the break. You are listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA, Africa's Global Bank. And still with us is Obinna Ekezie, the founder and CEO of Wakanow.com. Obinna, thanks for staying with us. Obinna, you've talked about team play quite a bit. And of course, as a sports person, you've experienced that. So I want to just hear your thoughts about taking team play into business, the value that you saw in sports and how you are seeing that work out for you in business.
Well, for me, the team is absolutely the key to success. No one person can build a world-class company by themselves. So it's
didn't Michael Jordan win it all by himself?
No, he didn't. Definitely not. Definitely not. He has legends like Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant and Dennis Rodman and all those guys. So let's not underestimate the contribution those guys made to that team. But for me in business, it's absolutely paramount that I was able to identify the right team. First person identifier was my partner, Ralph Tamino. Great guy, focused, determined, ready to go every day. Somebody can go to war with. And that's what I needed at that point. The reason why my first venture failed was because I had the wrong partner. So it wasn't because of the business wasn't right or the plan wasn't right. It was I had the wrong partner. So just to show you what a big difference that makes when it comes to finding your partner. So when I advise people about when you go into business, it cannot be an emotional thing. I have to go with my brother. I have to go with my sister. I have to go with some sentimental decision making. No, you have to find somebody that has the same vision that you have, that has the same passion.
So are you looking for somebody that is it the passion you're looking for, the skills, or
the commitment?
Commitment to the business.
People can always learn as they go, but the fundamental thing to find is somebody that has good character. Right? Somebody that is honest, somebody that is trustworthy, somebody that is committed, somebody that has passion for success, somebody that is ready to go do the work every day and not make excuses. People that make excuses are bound to fail. It's about getting things done. And so you need to identify that person that you can do. Ralph Tamino, that is my partner, he's my cousin, but we're not very close growing up. But when I came back and I came up with this plan, and we met and I explained to him, the minute I told him exactly what I was trying to do, he got it. And he was ready to give up everything he was doing to come on this journey. He saw it. He saw the vision. So that is the commitment I'm talking about. So then we grew our team. We started to add people into our team. Tony Odutayo, all the other people that came into the fold, and they've all come in with that value and that ability to work together. And you have to create an environment where people want to work together, where it's a good working environment. People can share ideas. Nobody knows it all. I don't go into meetings thinking that it's my way or everybody's. We come into meeting, we discuss, we deliberate, we find the most important thing is finding the best solution, the best idea for the company to move forward. And it may come from somebody else other than me, and that's fine with me. It's not an ego thing. It's about doing the best for the company at that time. The company has to put ahead of everybody else, and that's the kind of attitude that I go into try and run my business.
Team play all the way. Okay, but let's examine something that a lot of people go to business to get, which is a network. So I wanted to get your thoughts about that. Obviously you've had a huge background in sports. Can you just speak to the value of the network and managing the network of people that have come along the way and how that has helped you in terms of moving forward in business?
Definitely. I mean, every opportunity to meet people is a good opportunity, and you never know where you're going to meet someone, whether it's in business school, whether it's just going to meetings or going to exhibition. I mean, wherever you are able to meet people is always a good thing, and building a large network is always helps, because you may need things from people. So you want to reach out to people. This person knows this person. This person knows this person. This person can help me with this service. So it's always important to build that network. network. But at the end of the day, while in that network, we also have to identify the people that can work with you, that want to work with you, and then come up with the best.
Right. Okay, let's begin to round up now. Very quick question. Wakanow.com. Where did that concept come from? What's the story behind the name?
The story behind the name is that when I was living in the U.S., Nigeria had a very terrible perception. That was a time when a lot of the 419 boys were creating havoc globally. Yeah. And so as a Nigerian, we were looked down upon as Nigeria is a fraudulent country. And for me, I took it very personal because I looked at it. I mean, I come from Nigeria. I'm a proud Nigerian. We have good people in Nigeria. But what the message really portrayed out there to the world was that we're all corrupt and we're all criminals. And for me, I felt as a young individual coming up and my generation that we're being threatened by this stigma that could adversely affect our own development as a nation. And that's part of the reason why I came back, because I felt like if I came back and I was able to build a world-class company, we start to change that perception. And other people can follow up and do the same thing. Yeah. More positive stories start to go out about Nigeria. So the name Wakanow was, when we found the problem was that you could not travel and book your flight in fast space and with speed. So Waka means move. Now. So when I say we need to call this a Nigerian name, Waka now, travel now, move now, and that's how we came up with the name.
All right, well, great name. I think certainly that sense of national pride is there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Final tip, if you can, very quickly, what's that advice you would give to an entrepreneur, especially in Nigeria? One tip.
Make sure you have the right business plan. Talk to people. Let people critique your business plan. Find solutions and execute.
It's all about a business plan. Let's leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us today. Yeah. Obinna Ekezie, the founder and CEO of Wakanow.com, giving his perspective on the value of business school and, of course, the big lessons he's learned in life as a sports person and now an entrepreneur. That's it on the show for this week. Thank you very much for joining us. We're back next week. I'm your host, Wale Famrewa.
You're listening to Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA.
Today's business tips on Mind Your Own Business. Create a solid business plan. Show it to people of value in your network and let them critique and give directions. Create a business that seeks to find a solution to a problem. And execute strongly. For inquiries on Mind Your Own Business, please contact UBA Customer Fulfillment Center by calling these numbers 01-280-8822, 01-631-9822, and 0700-2255-822, Facebook.com/UBA Group, Twitter.com/UBA Group, live chat www.ubagroup.com, and you can also email cfc@ubagroup.com.
That was Mind Your Own Business, brought to you by UBA.